Hello, everybody. Welcome into Tiger Talks Wrestling. I am your host, Tony, as always. Joined in by the man whose Yankees happened to drop 2 out of 3 from the Detroit Tigers this week. Had to pull that one out there. The final boss himself. Welcome to the show, man.
I never did this during the show, but right here, motherfucker, the New York salute. Fuck you. Fuck you.
I had to figure it
I know. Yeah, I
out.
know.
I mean, we still got another series, but
Yeah, but
I mean, with our 3 starting pitchers in 3 games, I got something.
Oh my God. Yeah. Let's talk wrestling. Let's talk wrestling because I'm gonna be on bitch mode. Hey, you're Yankee fan.
Well, that could make things.
My own wife was laughing about it, like, hey, you're a Yankee fan. He just in our fucking show. What the fuck's wrong with you?
I'm a Yankees fan after a Tigers fan, so. But I still got to pick fun.
Yeah, I know it is.
All right. But we're here just to talk a little bit about WrestleMania, with it being a week and a half away, of course. We're going to kind of go down memory lane a little bit, talk a little bit about what happened in Mania last year, going into WrestleMania this year today. I was hoping John would have been joining us since he was asking about what we were doing today, but he's not here. We will get him in next week, though. Plan on doing Wednesday and Friday shows next week, but we'll see what happens with that.
Yes, and I do work.
All right.
And I do work Monday, so I am free Wednesday and Friday of next week. So we're good.
Oh, that's good. Very good.
Except Thursday, I gotta sleep.
All right. So when we go,
so I'll be looking like this. Oh, yeah.
Right. But anyways, looking back at WrestleMania from last year, with Becky Lynch going against Rhea Bloody Ripley for the Women's World Championship. Fast forward to a year later, here we've got Becky Lynch is still nowhere to be seen right now. She's been off TV for, 6 months or so, I think. Ever since she lost that Women's World title to Liv Morgan inside the steel cage match was the last match she had.
Yeah.
And she has re-signed with the company, but we haven't seen her since then. Maybe she'll return at Mania. Maybe she'll return at Raw after Mania. Who knows? Rumor has it that she's wanting to come back with a different character altogether, too. So we'll see what happens with that. Rhea, on the other hand, has managed to find herself in the Women's World title picture yet again. This year, though, she walks in as a challenger instead of as a champion, of course, facing Bianca Belair and the current Women's World Champion.
Yeah, I mean, last year, Rena went in as world champion and had that great entrance of her song sung by the actual band. I forgot the band's name. But, what a great thing for her. Io last year was against Bayley, who won the Royal Rumble, but really wasn't really. Let's say this: last year, Io and Becky, Bayley basically got no push of their storyline because they were never really a part of anything. Leading up to WrestleMania last year, Io walked in as the champion, like she's doing this year again. Just a different title. and Bianca was in a 6-man tag with two people that are going to face each other this year at WrestleMania and put up her undefeated streak at WrestleMania because she hasn't lost yet since she debuted in the main roster at WrestleMania. So it's going to be a good it's going to be a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Women's very to me, I think it's going to be a top-notch match between three ladies that are busting their ass for the entire year.
That they have. It was surprising to see Io beat Rhea a little over a month ago to win that title, because I personally thought that Rhea was going to be walking into her second Mania in a row as Women's World Champion. But interesting to see how that goes down.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
And we'll talk more about Bianca and Io too, but
yeah. But let me say this about that. I feel like it's a two-way thing this year with just more focus on Bianca and Rena, and I always feel like Io is the odd person out. She's the Bailey of this year's WrestleMania. Yeah. And it's sad, but I'm not gonna give my prediction about what the match, because we want you back next week while we tell you our predictions of this triple threat match. I'm just giving you a teaser. We're not gonna tell you what our prediction is because we don't want to, but come back next week and we'll tell you who we think we're going to win this match.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we'll be discussing next week.
Moving on from that,
the second match on the card last year ended up being the 6-pack challenge ladder match for the tag team titles. You had the New Catch Republic, who just returned to Monday Night Raw last week. DIY, the Judgment Day that went in as champions, New Day, and then, of course, Awesome Truth and A-Town Down Under that walked out with the titles. Whereas this year, New Catch Republic's nowhere near the WrestleMania card. I'm sure if they get anything, they might be part of the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal that I'm sure will take place on SmackDown the night before. New Day, it's looking like might get a World Tag Team title shot against Raiders, from what it sounds like, at Mania. Get into the other team. Finn Balor, Damian Priest. Damian was all over WrestleMania last year because he had this match and then he had the cash-in, of course. And that cash-in goes into his match at Mania this year, which we'll get into more of that later. Finn Balor goes from being in this 6-pack challenge for the tag titles in the ladder match last year to a fatal 4-way match for the Intercontinental title this year. So,
okay, first,
he's the master of the multi.
Oh yeah, most
definitely.
But before we go on, we just have to the Judgment Day lost a great competitor. We have to give the Judgment Day our condolences on the passing of Carlito.
Yes, that is true.
As you saw on Monday night, Braun Breaker killed him with the spear that Carlito himself.
Yes.
Carlito himself is holding a memorial service for himself due to the extreme spear that he got from Braun Breaker. So I think we should give him a moment of silence that he might not get up ever again from that thing. Holy shit. I never saw a wrestler do that.
The spear.
Yeah. Like as you said, it's different. I mean, half of the guys that are in that match are not even a part of it this year, and Finn Balor, who I
more
still
than half, right?
Half of them, One thing about Finn Balor, man, that man should be a world champion at some point. He is a workhorse. he is a workhorse, and they just, let me say this. The original Judgment Day was better than this watered down version.
That's true.
And I feel like it's time to figure out what you want to do with Finn. You know, I feel like Finn's always caught in the middle of somebody else's success. And I feel like it's time for Finn to get back a title that he had to give up due to injury. You know, and
Right.
he never recovered from it. And that's sad that a guy never recovered from it, goes back to NXT for a cup of coffee and becomes world champion there. I mean, who does that? No guy ever does that. That goes back to go back and win the title there, but when he comes back on the main roster, he's a. I'm not saying it, but he's an enhancement. I feel like he's just second fiddle to the major stars, and it's not fair to him.
Right. No, I agree with you completely. I feel like, honestly, Judgment Day has kind of run its course, and really, they should just plan on disbanding that faction altogether, in my opinion.
But you know they won't, because the next league is going to be Dominic Mysterio. I mean, for God's sakes, it's going to be an all lucha.
Oh boy. But yeah, back to these teams. I mean, the Awesome Truth, who ended up winning the tag titles, Miz and Truth are not even on the card, not even close to it. Theory and Waller are not anywhere as close to the card either. But then when you talk about the New Day, so what I heard was that New Day and the War Raiders probably will get a tag team title match on WrestleMania card. And then the other team that was a part of this 6-pack ladder match that you thought would be part of WrestleMania is DIY. From what I've seen today, though, the SmackDown WWE Tag Team title picture, their match for that weekend might be on SmackDown the night before WrestleMania instead of at WrestleMania, which, in my opinion, is the stupidest thing they can do, because that tag team division has been fire. It has been the best tag team of WWE for the last several months. And for them not to get on the WrestleMania, because those 5 tag teams deserve to be on Mania.
I'm going to agree with you. I feel like the World Tag Team titles could be on like a pre-show or something like that, because it hasn't been relevant. It hasn't been relevant. I'm going to be honest. When you watch SmackDown, it feels like it's going back to the old way, back in the 80s when you had the Bulldogs, you had the Hart Foundation, you had the Killer Bees, Demolition, Strike Force, the Colossal Connection.
Right.
That is the way I see the SmackDown tag team division. And then you go up a little more, and then you have, you know, Kurt Angle and that guy that we don't talk about. You got Edge and Christian, the Dudleys, the Hardys. With the addition of the Motor City Machine Guns, that division is almost like TNA quality, because TNA always had the best tag team division. They still do, but damn, to put them on, you know, the WrestleMania SmackDown, that is beneath everybody that has worked hard to make that division great. It's a typical, sorry to say this, we know who runs the show, and that's why we always call him the final boss. Not me, because I don't have any creations of anything with WWE.
Right.
This is why when you're stacking yourself with the same guys, a lot of the guys that have been working their ass off to get to that WrestleMania's moment, is always left off because you got the top dogs don't want to give up their spot, which is sad.
That's true. And of course, I'll go back a little bit. We mentioned Finn's got the Fatal 4-Way match for the Intercontinental Championship. That's in there as well, who we'll talk about eventually. Braun Breaker, the defending champion, and of course Penta, who will be making his WrestleMania. They both had debut. So, yeah. Breaker and Penta. It'll be interesting to see how that Fatal 4-Way goes.
Oh, yeah.
Now, speaking of Dirty Dom, he in the next is his tag team partner against Rey Mysterio. It was a mess of a match at times, that tag team match. It'll be nice to see Dom away from Rey at WrestleMania after the last 2 years of going against his dad. Andrade is not even looking like he's going to be a part of Mania again this year. He hasn't really been in much of a storyline. It looks like he's kind of getting involved a little bit with Legado and maybe a fracture there, but Carlito, of course, was out there with the LWO. So was Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, and Zelina Vega. None of them will probably make it on the card. Berto won't be on the card, it doesn't look like right now. Angel and Berto tag team title match of some sort on SmackDown before. Alexa Lopez, of course. Dom's got his match. Rey's got his. That's the only other thing. Rey Mysterio does have a match again this year, Mania. Not a tag team match this time. He'll be in a singles match for the first time in 2 years against El Grande Americano, a.k.a. Chad Gable, under a match.
Excuse me, sir. It's not Chad.
Don't insult.
No, sir.
My intelligence, sir.
No, sir. Sir, it's sir. It is Hulk Hogan under a mask.
Oh, please. Like, anybody believes that Hulk Hogan was ever 195 pounds.
I know. But ladies and gentlemen, me and Tony has been talking about this. There are some people on the internet saying that it's not Chad Gable. One person actually said it's Mark Henry. One person said it's Kurt Angle. One person even said it was Jordan Grace.
What are they smoking?
So I'm saying to people, me and Tony were very intelligent about it. We know it's Chad Gable because of the body type. It's just, for God's sake, people, just look at the body type of Chad Gable and El Grande Americano. It's the same person. Thank you for this message. Now let's get back to our regularly scheduled program.
Right? Stupid. I'm getting ended at WrestleMania, but we'll see what happens. I know a lot of people in the Mexican community are not happy about it.
Oh, yeah, because they're not using the proper name. They're using the name that, we're not going to mention him. They're using where he's from of the new name that's been called it, and a lot of people are not happy with the Mexican people, like saying you're disrespecting our culture by having some person dress up as a luchador when he's not. It's always a WWE stereotype.
Yeah.
That's the way they've been for years. Hell, this guy could even be John Cena's lost brother. That wore a mask. El Senor Cena. Whatever the hell that name was when he lost to the Nexus. Juan Cena, yeah. Could it be that El Grande Americano is Juan Cena?
You guys hear me?
Yeah, Senor. You know,
Gracias.
I know. Oh my God. Um, yeah, and it's nice to see Rey Mysterio get into a single match, but respect the Hall of Famer. Just respect the Hall of Famer. A guy that busts his ass.
It should just be Ray versus.
Yeah. Will this be? I know, and we know Rey Mysterio's WrestleMania moments. We know his. Is this
Yeah.
Chad Gable's actually first WrestleMania?
Singles competitor, I believe so. Tag team wise, I think he's been in a couple.
Okay.
I think him and Otis were on WrestleMania 2 or 3 years ago in a tag team fatal 4-way match or something like that against the RK Bro.
Okay. Wow.
And then there's a couple other teams.
Wow, that's a name you don't hear anymore.
Yeah,
Oh
right?
my God.
Speaking of,
Nice.
wearing my original
Bro.
shit I'll be getting rid of sooner than
Yeah.
Bro.
Bro.
The next match saw the a match that we see happen quite often at WrestleManias every, what did we decide, like 10 years or something like that, I think. Brother versus brother. Jimmy versus Jay. Quite a difference a year makes. I mean, we've talked at length about how really their match ended up being at WrestleMania last year. But this year, so much different. Jay Uso's on such a high since he was moved over to Monday Night Raw, and all the pop and circumstance and all the yeet in that everybody does in every crowd. But that yeeting, I have a feeling, after the last couple weeks, is done for until after this Jey Uso is going to be in. Jimmy's not going to be on the card more than likely after the beatdown he took from Gunther last week.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this match. You know, will main event Jey Uso finally get his flowers? Like, yeah, we're not gonna tell you who we think's gonna win, because you have to next week you have to come for the prediction show so we can let you know who you think we're gonna win. Haha, we're not gonna give it to you that easy, people. But this match right here, Brett and Owen was better than this match. So let's go from there.
That doesn't take much.
Yeah.
Then you had the 6-woman tag match you mentioned earlier. Jade, Bianca, and Naomi against Damage Control. We know Bianca's in the triple threat match for the Women's World Championship this year after winning the Olympics. She's definitely, you can see it week by week. She's definitely starting to turn heel at WrestleMania against Stone Cold. What? Definitely see Bianca as a heel sooner. Just the promo she cut on Raw during that little contract signing, if you want to call it that, or whatever you want to call it. That wasn't the scene or have been used to seeing since she's been called up to the main roster a few years ago.
Yo, definitely. I could see the difference in her. And to me, I think it's about time that we finally get a heel Bianca, because it's getting stale.
Yeah, it is.
I would love to see her. And this, I'm not going to tell you who's going to win, but, you know, I just feel like something needs to happen at Mania that she fully turns heel. And, finally it is revealed that she and somebody else is the one that attacked Jade in the parking lot. I would love
right?
that to happen because since
Me too.
Elimination Chamber, when she had that interview, it shows that she was actually involved in it. Because you look at her, I watched it back when Jade attacked Naomi, she looked scared too. So let's have it a full blown heel turn because I think it's time for Bianca to, you know, do you call her husband Montez a full heel? Because I get confused at that part because it's
Yeah, I'm
like,
not. It's hard to say with the Street Profits. I mean, they've gone back to their heel theme song that they used briefly with Lashley when they were supposed to be heels.
yeah,
Towards the end of Lashley's run, but the crowd, they're still doing stuff with the crowd like they're baby faces. So what are they supposed to be? And they're dressing like heels.
yeah. I'm still trying to figure out with them too, but you know, wait until next week while we tell you our prediction of WrestleMania 41. So yeah, let's see what's gonna happen. But yeah, it wasn't a really great 6-man tag. Let's just say this. It
No,
was a really it wasn't above par because you got 6 women, 5 of them are well trained, and then you have Jade Cargill that is still learning. Not her fault. It's
right.
just she's still a little green, you
Yeah,
know. And there's a video out there that somebody took when she was ready to attack Naomi when she was facing B-Fab that people had to tell her what to do. That's not a good look for the company that you have to train her on site where there's cameras around. It's a bad omen. And I hope WWE gets to a point, and I'm not trying to diminish Jay. She has a killer body. She needs to get
right.
more work in NXT. Season her. You know,
They should have.
she is not ready to be up in the big time. You know, I think she needs to be up there because look, and I always said this. Look at Last Legends. She was greener as hell. She got really better in the past couple of months.
Right.
And I feel like if Last Legends could do what Jay is doing, it would be a phenomenal thing. But we already know why Last Legends is doing good because she whoops that trick.
Yeah, you can put it that way.
You know?
But anyways, we'll be interesting to see how Bianca women's triple threat match for the women's world title.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, her two tag team partners, they go teaming up at Mania 40 to be an opponents at Mania 41. First time in WrestleMania history, there be Naomi versus Jade Cargill, a women's match without a title involved for the first time.
Man, that's insane.
Well, singles.
You know, but we talked about this. I hope Naomi's heel turn is better than her first one because it looks like they're actually working with her to do a better heel turn than she did before because she looked at loss and her
Right?
you know, so it's going to be interesting to see what we get with them too because now it's just Naomi working with Jade and let's see what happens.
So the one thing I'm going to be looking for at WrestleMania for this match is I noticed on SmackDown last week, Naomi still was coming out to the same theme song. And I feel like with her turning fully heel, they need to change to something darker. They can't have her coming out to that same theme song that's supposed to be all glow and fun and all that stuff, because it just doesn't fit, in my opinion, with this new character.
Well, she's doing a John Cena.
I guess so. Cena's is different, but we'll get into that.
Yeah, I get it. She needs to have a more better music. More better theme. Yeah. I feel like it's time, just for the heel turn. But I do love her outfit that she has. She dressed like Caution. I gotta say what they did with Caution. Yeah, I love it that they're using Caution tape for her body, which is like, wow, that's a lot of Caution tape.
Right. On the other side, their opponents were Damage Control, Dakota, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. Kairi and Asuka, they're going to miss Mania this year. Kairi's supposed to be back very soon. Asuka's not supposed to be back, I think, I see, until either like May or June or something. Sucks, because they were hoping to have Asuka back. This is just floundering right now, I feel like. She hasn't really had a direction for anything since she lost in the finals of the Women's Intercontinental Title Tournament. I still some people might not agree with it, but I still personally feel like she should have been the one to win the Women's Intercontinental Championship, but that's
my girl, man. Every time I look at Dakota, I go like, why is she not champion? The only title she has under her belt, and it's sad, is Tag Team Gold. In NXT and in the main roster. I mean, she was world champion, tag team champion with Raquel Rodriguez. I mean, It's sad that she don't have a single title run. I mean, yeah, she got released. I mean, I don't know. But at least she's, I feel like she has to dump somebody because maybe his aura of not winning championships is the reason why she's not a champion yet. I mean, he got in trouble for what he said on Tuesday. Wow, what a way to do a promo about people like, yeah, you fucked up in your own run for a title.
right. Yeah, but Eddie's. I don't mean you.
Not this Eddie, because actually, I mean, I wouldn't mind. I mean, hey, how you doing? Yeah.
But no, we're referring to Eddie Thorpe, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to see that. Whatever happens with that, Hopefully, we don't have Lexus King, because I swear to God, whoever's doing his makeup should stop doing it.
Right. It's crazy. All right. Yeah, NXT's a whole different story, which we'll get into next week. But
yeah.
So then we got the second to last match on Mania 41, or Mania 40 night one, rather, was the Intercontinental Championship match. Sami Zayn challenging Gunther. Gunther dominated, of course, the majority of that match before Sami ended up ending that 666-day reign, longest title reign in history for the Intercontinental Championship. This year, as of right now, it could change, because we know there's a match with a mystery opponent currently that might be revealed tomorrow night on SmackDown. Who knows? We'll see. But as of right now, Sami Zayn is out, really injured, but just taking time off for the most part, after his match with KO at Elimination Chamber. Whereas Gunther, as we kind of discussed a little bit earlier, is going into WrestleMania as the World Heavyweight Champion to defend against the Men's Royal Rumble match winner, main event, Jey Uso.
Yeet.
Yeet. So, a bigger spot for Gunther this year than last year. Not to say that defending the Intercontinental title wasn't a big spot, especially when it was just before the main event.
Oh yeah, definitely. Sammy, who knows? He's injured, but posts his pictures of him in the nightclub. Like, hey,
Right.
way to go, buddy. You know, yeah. Gunther, it's a step back of his great reign as World Intercontinental Champion, which he dominated for a year, 2 years basically. Man, I don't want to say this because I know it might get a lot of people like really pissed. His run as world champion is a little flat.
That's an understatement.
I mean, he has the champion. He had some good matches, but when he was Intercontinental Champion, the Workman's title, he put a little more effort into it. I mean, I understand that when you're world champion, your life changes, but I don't know what your opinion is. I feel like he's not doing more as world champion. I mean,
No.
I feel like it sucks to say that. You know, maybe some people are not ready for that next level. And I feel like Gunther, if they would have structured him right and keep putting opponents in front of him. I mean, look at the matches he had as world champion. Some are against Finn, some are against some are against Finn Balor. I mean, he really hasn't had a big run.
He's
He
had
was
matches
always
with
left
Randy.
off the card. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's had title defenses against Randy Orton, Seth Rollins, Damian Priest, Finn Balor.
Yeah.
The list goes on. It's still not up to par with the Intercontinental title reign he had.
Yeah.
My question out of all that is, though, the run that Gunther's had ever since he debuted in NXT UK to now, he's had so many more wins than he has losses, because his losses are maybe 2 handfuls altogether. Is it too much too soon, maybe, in the case of Gunther? Does he need to have more defeats to his belt, do you think? And that would make it more of a credible champion? Or what is holding him back as World Heavyweight Champion
Let me say this to you.
compared to the Intercontinental title reign?
Let me say this to you, and you could tell me if I'm dead wrong. I see Gunther as a bona fide Bill Goldberg.
I could see that in a way.
Because
he can wrestle a lot better than Goldberg ever could, but
let me say this, and I understand where you're coming from with that part. When Goldberg debuted, win after win after win, and then all of a sudden he's at 100 wins, and then he was only in the company for 2 months. I'm like, wow, how is he getting all these wins? You know,
right?
When Goldberg was the United States champion, his run as world of the United States champion was awesome. I mean, I feel like when he was the United States champion, it showed that he could work with his ability. When he became world champion, Goldberg's aura was shit. And it didn't prove. It didn't show people, okay, this man could be a future world champion, and he only has a couple of losses under his belt. WWE is making Gunther this unstoppable force, which he is. He's a great technician in the ring. But you need to you need to step back. You need to step back and let him lose more. Lose a couple of matches, to get the people to think he's more credible as the man. I mean, let's flip it.
Yeah.
Look at Damian Priest. He had more losses than wins in his career. He was more credible. Same thing goes for Brett. When Brett became world champion, Brett had more losses. Shawn did. Gunther needs to step back a little bit, take some losses, and then if you want to put the title back on the man, do it. Because I feel like Gunther, yeah, he's the ring general, but he doesn't have that pizzazz like other world champions do.
Right.
You need that pizzazz.
Right. No, I agree with that.
I feel like, let me say this. I feel like Gunther is a prune. It's a prune that it's the same old shit. I'll beat you down. Like, let's talk about Monday night. That promo, Gunther should have stood his ground, and he looked scared. And I'm not saying Jay is. You want to build this man as a monster, and you made him look like a vegetable when Jay started talking that crazy shit. I was like, why are you putting down your world champion, making your world champion not look tough when a week before you had him tie Jay to the rope and you beat down his brother? That's the Gunther that people should see. That had Big Jin's blood. And then a week later you have him look like he's petrified. Which one do you want?
Right.
Yeah.
He should have definitely did something to Jay or.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they've got Monday Night Raw until WrestleMania between those two.
Oh, most definitely. I agree with you. What is your opinion? Do you feel like I'm in the right spot with this? Because I look at it from a standpoint. Something needs to happen to make it more credible.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, it was my question. That I just feel like it's all, like I said, too soon. How am I trying to put this? Too much, too soon, I guess, in a way. Yes, we all wanted Gunther to go on to win the King of the Ring tournament last year after dropping the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. We wanted to see Gunther go on to win the World Heavyweight Championship, but maybe he shouldn't have had it so easy between the two, because if you look at things really, and even the fact that he beat Randy Orton in the finals, but because we've seen the tapes, Randy's shoulders down, and maybe that's where the credibility kind of fades for Gunther, because you could tell, hey, he's actually willing to take an easy victory for the most part there. He hasn't had enough rivalries or feuds, maybe perhaps, as World Heavyweight Champion. They've been almost like one and done in a way, because Randy and him had their one rematch. That Priest, I think, had one match, and that was it. That was it, pretty much. To me, when you're a world champion and you want to build up credibility, you need to have more than just one match against a rival or have in a feud. you need to be having more matches with those people and not just having these promos or the beatdowns. And Gunther just hasn't had that, because if you look at like Roman Reigns, and maybe I shouldn't use Roman as an example because we know how long his title reign was, but how many times did he face the Kevin Owens, the Seth Rollins, the Sami Zayns, the, everybody else under the sun? Even he faced these guys more than once. It wasn't a one and done. Whereas Gunther, it's one and done for pretty much every rival he's had since he won the World Heavyweight Championship.
The only guy he really had a
that doesn't.
The only guy he really had a championship match. Well, there's two championship long run is Damian Priest and Jey Uso. That's the only two people he had a long on and off again run. Like, if you go back, how many times did Brett face Bulldog? How many times did Shawn face Sid? I mean, how many times did, Shawn face The Undertaker? I mean, it's a shame for a guy that has so much talent and has a body transformation. I mean, if you look at when Gunther debuted in NXT, NXT UK was heavy as hell. And now look at him.
Yes, Walter Woods.
I mean, the man is chiseled. I mean,
right.
I just feel like when you said the king of the ring with Randy. Randy is straight up, anybody could deny me and say, no, you're wrong. Randy is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Right. Randy's getting to a point in his career, he wants to help the young. A bad situation happened in that match that Gunther didn't cover Randy properly. And I think, like you think, I think it shattered Gunther's confidence that WWE, okay, he just messed up on one of these matches, on a match with one of the greatest in-ring performers. Now we got to figure out, he's the number one contender to the championship. Let's see what we can do it. I feel like they're babying him along. And I don't want to say that about a guy that is talented. When he was the Intercontinental Champion, they didn't baby him. He was spot on. Every time he was spot on.
Right.
Since he won the big title, he's been carried by the other guy, which is alarming for a guy that's your world champion.
Right. That's supposed to be the other way around when you got the world championship.
Yeah, you are the man. You are the man, and you're being carried by your opponent. And the on and off of him being this vicious monster to like a gentle thin of glob. It's sad to see. It's sad to see the world champion put into business. I mean, if you look at the card for WrestleMania this year, he's not even the main event.
No. I'd be surprised to see this match go on first.
Which is sad because Jay deserves a lot of credit for working his ass off to get to this point. And he is basically the mid-card match or the opener.
Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see it be the opener.
Most definitely.
But we'll see what happens.
Hopefully it's not a Sheamus Daniel Bryan match.
Yes, I hope not. No 18 seconds.
No.
All right. So that brings us to we could talk about that for hours on end, I feel like, but we'll get more into that on next week, Friday, I'm sure. That brings us to the WrestleMania Night 1 main event from last year. Of course, then World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins teamed up with the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes to go up against then undisputed WWE Champion Roman Reigns and the final boss himself, The Rock. Quite a difference a year makes. But yet, in a way, there's no difference in the year that's made because two of those four men will be in the Night 1 main event yet again. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins will be in that triple threat match, main eventing Night 1 of WrestleMania 41 with CM Punk, of course. The Rock, last I heard, nobody seems to really know if he's even going to appear at WrestleMania this year still. To me, I feel like he's got to because they keep showing him in the preview videos for WrestleMania, but we'll see what happens there. We know what his big thing is for WrestleMania if he does. And then, of course, Cody's going against Rock's new boy, if you will, John Cena, in the main event of WrestleMania for the Undisputed WWE Championship. So a lot to unpack with those four gentlemen as we go into WrestleMania 41.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I can't wait to see Cody Rhodes versus the Grumpy Cat at WrestleMania.
The Grumpy Cat.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry, WWE, and I'm not picking on you as much, but for God's sakes, get a better picture of John Cena. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, yeah, what a difference a year makes. I mean, Cody's going in as champion, facing Cena. Yeah, we don't know what The Rock's gonna do. And Travis Scott, he's gonna be there in some way or form. And the other thing is, like, I cannot wait to see that triple threat match, to see CM Punk finally get his main event, and his first real WrestleMania as a main event, which is going to be awesome for Punk. And
yes,
I cannot.
A year over a little bit.
Most definitely. I can't wait to tell you next week what my prediction is about who I think's going to win. But you have to turn in next week, and I'll let you know what that is. Just if you're not subscribed to Tiger Talk Wrestling, please do, and let us tell you who we think we're going to win. But let's just say this. I'll give you a little spoiler. Paul Heyman's going to turn on somebody, but I'm not going to tell you who it is. So stay tuned to next week on Tiger Talk Wrestling to let us know. Hey, hit that subscribe button, and we'll let you know.
Yes. Make sure you hit that bell too, so then you know when exactly we go live.
Yeah, I forgot the bell.
That's the only way I know how.
I forgot the bell. Shit. Oh yeah, and leave a comment if you like what we're talking about. But if you don't leave a comment, we'll be very sad.
As usual.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't really know, but when you guys don't leave a comment, me and Tony cries afterwards. So leave a comment and tell us that you love us.
Here we go.
I actually cry so much. I have an onion next to me.
I will leave that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it'd be interesting to see how Mania Night 1 turns out with that triple threat match. I say a year in the making because CM Punk was supposed to be in the original main event of WrestleMania Night 1 last year before he got injured in the Royal Rumble. I mentioned that. We'll talk more about that triple threat match next week. Dive into night 2 of WrestleMania. Of course, that was Seth Rollins defending the championship McIntyre, which in the long run led to the cash-in for Damian Priest, and also leads to their match this year at WrestleMania, as it was announced today, made official today by Nick Aldis. It will be Damian Priest one-on-one with Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania.
Oh, that'd be
For
great.
the second year in a row, technically.
Oh, that'd be great because I can't wait to see that match, to see how these two work together. But on a side note, I was watching Dark Side of the Ring this week about Big Van Vader, and it was nice to see that when Drew McIntyre was a kid, in a little vignette like they used to do, Drew McIntyre was that little man with the patch on.
Yeah?
Yeah. You remember when they had a thing with Sting and they did one up to the mountains and then there's that guy with the patch on? I'm like, holy shit, it's Drew McIntyre as a kid.
Of course, referring to the fact that Drew was wearing a patch over his eye at SmackDown last Friday.
Look, I was like, wait.
Glass in his eye.
I swear, Drew McIntyre should look at that vignette with Vader and Sting when they did that, when WCW used to do them vignettes. I think Drew McIntyre should come out like that little guy with the patch and that little outfit he wears. It'd be really perfect to match. Like, honor that guy, goddammit. He sacrificed his eye for you. But
that would be great.
But let me say this. I don't like saying this about two guys. I think it's actually perfect that these two are going up against one another. I don't know what Drew's complaining about, that he's not in the main event. And I don't know if it's a...
Oh, man, that might have just crashed. Or did you? I don't know if you're still there or if I'm still here. I think I'm still here. Eddie's kind of gone MIA. Hold on. I'm trying to get things situated on YouTube so I can see if it's me or him. If you can't hear me. But I'm checking on my phone. 1 second. Let's see.
And then at the Royal Rumble, can you hear me? Yeah, like
it was all frozen over here.
Saying,
I hear you now.
That's fine. Yeah, I was like saying, I think it's good that these two are wrestling against each other because, first of all, last year's cash-in was the only cash-in of WrestleMania since Seth Rollins did it.
Right.
I feel like it's a good thing for these two. They're on WrestleMania, but I know Drew wants a little more. But I do like it. I feel like it's going to be a hard-hitting match between these two guys.
Yeah, it should be. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I personally thought Drew should have had somebody better than Priest, certainly, but it'll be interesting to see how things go. I'll be a good guy, but yeah, I mean, when they're over in the UK, obviously he was booed because Drew's from the UK. But he also seemed like he was diving back into that heel tendency with some of the things he was saying in his promos too, even after they got back from the UK. So
yeah,
will it lead to Priest turning full heel and Drew going back to being a babyface? I think it's too soon for both of those, but we'll see.
Let me say this about what you just said, and I'm going to run off of you. I feel like at the Mania, Drew's going to be in a mega group coming up after Mania.
Yeah.
And it has something to do with night one's main event.
We'll see what you're thinking when we get to our prediction show, I guess, next week.
Oh yeah. I feel like Drew's gonna. I'll tell you next week. We'll tell you next week when we do it, because I've been thinking about this for I've been thinking about this for 2 weeks to see what we think what Drew next step is and all that. But yeah, let's just I got something. I got something out of the ballpark that people are like, what the hell's wrong with this man?
Hey, that can sometimes be a good thing, though.
Yeah.
All right. Move on past all that. Next, you've seen the Philadelphia Street Fight match where the Pride beat the Final Testament in the 6-man tag. Karrion Kross, the only man left in Scarlet in WWE now. The Street Profits and BFAB, of course, from the Pride still around. BFAB wins tag team title match at WrestleMania, but I highly doubt it. The Street Profits, as we mentioned, they're coming in to WrestleMania as the WWE Tag Team Champions, or WrestleMania weekend anyway. The fact that they're having possibly to defend it on SmackDown is just ludicrous, as we talked about earlier. They deserve better than that, if that's what it ends up being. Karrion Kross doesn't have a spot on the Mania card. He is deeply involved in this AJ Styles Logan Paul feud, though. To the point that he's going to be facing Karrion Kross, as in he is going to be facing AJ Styles on Raw Monday night. But Kross told AJ this past Monday night, you have to beat Logan Paul at WrestleMania. You cannot lose to him. Where does that all play in for Karrion Kross, and why is he so adamant that AJ Styles has to defeat Logan Paul? What's his angle with all of this is what it's going to be interesting to see for Karrion Kross.
Shit, be honest, I don't really know. I feel like they're just throwing him into the match. I don't get it. I don't get it. Because is he gonna start a feud with AJ? Or is he gonna help AJ win? And then AJ and him become a tag team? AJ's gonna turn heel. He's gonna help Logan Paul. He's gonna help Logan Paul sell Prime. I mean, I don't really know. I don't really know what to think about it.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. That does bring us into the next match too. That happened in WrestleMania last year was AJ Styles and LA Knight.
Yeah.
Quite a difference for LA Knight over the last year, though. He goes from being in that singles match with AJ last year to going into WrestleMania this year as the United States champion. He doesn't have a spot on the card right now, though, does he? Oh, yeah, he does. Never mind. Sorry. I forgot. He does have a match at WrestleMania, defending that U.S. title against Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. I mean, what a difference from last year that both guys are facing two different opponents. Like I said, AJ versus Logan Paul. I don't like mentioning much about Logan, but that man can go. I mean, for a non-wrestler who's an outsider. I mean, yeah, he's been with the company for almost 2 years? 2 years, 3 years?
4 now, yeah.
I mean, when he first had his match with the Mysterios and him and Miz, I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting too much from Logan Paul. I thought it'd be like Bad Bunny, like all these celebrities. But he has proved himself that
Right.
he could be in the ring with the best. I mean, I know he's not in the company anymore because he's doing this, ha ha. You know, but what he did with Ricochet's no slouch. I mean, Ricochet and him went toe to toe. He went toe to toe with Seth Rollins, which is a workhorse. He even had a good match with Roman. That is hard to do.
Yep.
You know, you have a good match with Randy. You have a good match with Kevin Owens. He's not like going up. I mean, his match with The Miz, I don't pay attention to him because it's The Miz. You know,
Right.
but you're going up against guys that like LA Knight and AJ that are basically guys you don't want to go up against. And he's showing people that, damn, don't doubt me out. You know,
Right.
To me, and I can say this, I thought at this year's WrestleMania going to be Logan Paul versus Mike Tyson because of that shit match with him and that boxing match with him. That Tyson basically could have killed him.
Right.
And then Tyson said, "I could whoop your ass." I was waiting for Triple H, Paul to be like, "All right, we're making that match for Mania, Tyson versus Paul." You know, I wanted to see that, but hey, AJ Styles is one big ass motherfucker to go up against.
And AJ has usually some of the best matches on the WrestleMania card when he's in a singles match, especially.
Oh yeah.
Look at the matches he's had with Jericho and Shane McMahon and with LA Knight last year, for that matter. AJ is a great person to be in there with. He had a really good match with Shinsuke Nakamura too, even though we weren't too thrilled with the way things ended with that. But that's another point. But Logan Paul, to me, yeah, like you said, he's proven so many doubters wrong, and he is great in the ring for somebody that never really trained much for this business. It's not his first calling, if you will. But this man, Logan Paul, he's still, this day, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, still delivers a hell of a buckshot lariat, even better than Hangman Adam Page, could ever dream of delivering. So, and now, in my opinion, also, the new finisher that Logan Paul uses, and we've seen it just a couple weeks ago on Raw when he hit it on AJ Styles, that finisher I've seen on social media, the guys I follow from Backyard Wrestling, the DeMorris driver, because there's a Morris in Backyard Wrestling that's made it to the Indies that used to use that finisher. But that finisher just makes him a little more legit, in my opinion, and is a much more believable finisher than just that punch, just because he has titanium in his fist. And that, if he's going to use that going further down the road, if you will, and he's going to show up more, I could definitely Paul even maybe a world title reign at some point in time.
Man, that would be, Dan, that would be good. Long as we don't see eye speed, because I don't think we're gonna see him because maybe we have to go to his funeral because after what happened with Braun Breaker at Jesus, I mean, yeah,
right.
I mean, Braun Breakers is a monster, just spearing everybody.
He is too. Quite the difference, of course. We were talking AJ. Logan Paul goes from defending the U.S. title in a triple threat match over KO and Randy to the match with AJ. But to build off of that, it's enough about Logan and AJ's match. Unfortunately, we were supposed to get Randy Orton versus Kevin Mania back in January. we now found out Kevin Owens had something happen with his neck in a match, just a regular match. It wasn't the match with Cody, from what it sounds like. And a couple things happened. It wasn't really anything that was focused on his neck by the sounds, but it still made his neck hurt, had feelings and all that stuff. Went in for a test and found out that he does have to go in and have neck surgery. KO is going to be out of action for the foreseeable future. Usually that type of surgery takes anywhere from 9 months to a year, if not better, to come back from. It's taken, and I hope it's not as severe as what Edge and Bryan Danielson had to go through, but look at how long those two guys ended up having to be out of wrestling before they could come back after having neck surgery. I'm hoping KO's isn't that bad, but you just don't know.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but for me, I just want to say good luck to Kevin Owens. I'm sorry, Kevin Steen, because that's his real name. I want to say, good luck on your surgery and get a speedy recovery, because we want to see you back, but it's a shame that you got to miss Mania. And I know that match with Randy would have been fucking awesome. I mean, these two would have, hands down, I think these two would have stole the show. I mean, I feel like Randy at his point, but now that him not being there, I know it's gonna kill him, because Kevin Owens has shown the WWE universe that he can hang with the best. I mean, if you can hang with Stone Cold Steve Austin in his not prime years and take it to Stone Cold Steve Austin, that means you made it. I mean, I wish it was more, but now we just got to see what's going to happen to Randy. We know this thing when they said he's not going to have a match. Randy Orton's having a match at WrestleMania, no matter what. Mm-hmm. It's already in stone, but with who? I have one person, but we're not going to tell you until next week to tell you who it's going to be and all that. But yeah, it's a tough thing, but damn. Actually, I got two people I think that might be it, but we'll tell you next week what we think of it.
There's a lot of options they could go with. I mean, even Sheamus posted on X today, I'm available.
That's one thing I can't figure out why he's not a part of WrestleMania. What the fuck, man?
Yeah. In my opinion, he should have been included in that Intercontinental title match.
What, is he having burger at the burger?
Have you seen the posts that he's posted lately on X or on YouTube channel? He definitely isn't having burger after burger after burger.
Good Lord.
He's back to rare form again.
When you see him, it's like, holy shit. Like, he's helping, like, I know he trained with somebody in the WWE. I forgot who it was, but good Lord, he's ripped.
Mm-hmm. Sheamus is in great shape again. There's no reason he should be off this WrestleMania card, in my opinion. Here we are. But yeah, you could have it. You could throw a Sheamus in there against Randy. Nick Aldis is going to address the whole Randy Orton situation on SmackDown tomorrow night, so we might know by the end of the night tomorrow night who Randy will face at Mania. But we'll see. It could be a Sheamus. It could be Nick Aldis making his WWE in-ring debut. Who knows? It could be Sami Zayn. It could be this guy. It could be that guy. It could be anybody. We'll get into that more next week if they haven't revealed who it'll be yet.
Well, I can tell you one person I think it's going to be. James Ellsworth.
Okay. Kinless Wonder himself.
Yeah, come on. He needs to.
Carmella's going to come back just to do it.
He needs to make a comeback. I mean, come on. We needed James Ellsworth back because he was the heart and soul of SmackDown.
Only if you bring Dean back.
Well, yeah, I don't think he can bring back Carmella because she's burning her bridges with the WWE.
Yeah. All right. So we mentioned, talk a little bit about Io Sky, how she's going from defending the WWE Women's Championship last year against Bayley to defending the Women's World Championship this year against against Rhea and Bianca. Funny, she defended against herself. Bayley, though, on the other hand, doesn't have a spot on WrestleMania right now, but as of tomorrow night, she could have. Because, of course, Bayley's teaming with the Intercontinental Women's Champion, Lyra Valkyria, to face 5 other women's tag teams in a gauntlet match to determine who will go on to face the women's tag team champions at WrestleMania. So, we could see Bayley and Lyra versus Liv and Raquel, or it could be any of the other 5 tag teams. We'll have to wait and see. I'm betting that it probably will be Bayley and Lyra, though, personally. And they had a pretty good match on Raw Monday night against each other, but it'll be interesting to see how they work as a team.
Oh, I would love to see that. Bayley not on the card. Yeah, it would be hard not to see her there. The only time she wasn't on the card when she was injured. You know, with that severe knee injury. I think that was the only time. And I think this will be, if I'm wrong, if it does happen, I think this will be Lyra Valkyria's first WrestleMania.
It will be.
I would love to see it, but if it does happen, man, what a step back. A lot of people on the internet are like really pissed. What a step back for Liv Morgan being world champion and now being degraded down to the tag team division. I don't see it as a great a letdown. She's still on the WrestleMania card. I mean, I don't see it that. I mean, I don't see it as a step down. I actually see it as a, hey, she's on WrestleMania. I mean, it'll be nice to see Raquel in a WrestleMania moment because I don't think Raquel had a WrestleMania moment.
No, not really.
You know, so I don't know why people are complaining. It's still what it is. I mean, you're on WrestleMania. At least you're not the secondhand smoker. You know, it's like you're on WrestleMania. That's the only thing. You know.
Right. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. Unfortunately for the women, they don't get a battle royal of any sorts the night before or at WrestleMania have anything multi-person for the most part. But the men, a lot of them that we mentioned probably will be part of the Andre Royal more than likely on SmackDown the night before WrestleMania. The list of winners of that is a who's who real quick. I mean, you had Cesaro win the first one, no longer with the company. Big Show win the second one, no longer with the company. Baron Corbin, no longer with the company. Mojo Rawley, no longer with the company. Matt Hardy, TNA World Tag Team Champion, no longer with the company, but will be involved in the company, it sounds like, at some point this summer. Braun Strowman, there's somebody that actually is still part of the company. Main event, Jey Uso. Madcap Moss, who's no longer with the company. Bobby Lashley, who's no longer with the company. And, of course, last year's Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner, Big Bronson Reed. I feel like, on that topic, on him anyways, Bronson Reed, if he wouldn't have gotten injured in the War Games match, probably would have had a big spot in WrestleMania this year.
Oh, definitely. And speaking of Mojo Rawley, he is now the agent of Alexa Bliss.
Oh?
Yeah, he has his own agency now. Like, she's one of his clients. I'm like, wait a minute, when the hell did he be like, you know, that? But, yeah, I mean, half of the guys you talked about in that are either in AEW or in MLW. I know Corbin's in MLW with Dijak.
Yeah. Yep, I seen that.
Because I did watch their Battle Riot 7. It's a weird ass stipulation that you can do pinfall submission. You can bring, and they have Arn Anderson's son as the Rogue Horseman, and his tag team partner is C.W. Anderson. I'm like, that motherfucker's still wrestling?
Yeah, really. Who would have thought that?
I mean, and then they got, and Bobby Fish is a part of that too. I still think Bobby Fish. I think Bobby Fish should go to AEW so he could start up the Undisputed Era. I'm sorry, Undisputed Kingdom.
Nope, they're not that anymore. They're the Paragon now.
They changed their name?
As of last night. Adam Cole mentioned at the end of the promo that they were now going to be called the Paragon.
Oh, for the love of God. They must have got sued by WWE.
Maybe. They're still undisputed.
Oh, for the love of God. Okay, I give up with the God. I only watched half of AEW. I'm like, fuck it, I'm not watching this garbage. Fucking the Paragon. It sounds like you could have called yourself the Paragraph.
Right?
Okay, I'm done. Yeah, but you're right. Half of the guys that are in that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, they're not there anymore. And it, like, yeah, Bronson. I feel like if Bronson didn't dive off the top of that the War Games cage, I would have put him into the Intercontinental title match.
Yeah, I can see doing that. So we'll talk more about that too before I get into that though. So I'm gonna just run a little bit over the card for Mania 41. Ends the WWE Women's Championship match. We go from Bayley versus year to, of course, the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble this year, Charlotte Flair, going up against Tiffany Stratton. Tiffany making her WrestleMania debut, her first match in WrestleMania. Charlotte wasn't on WrestleMania last year because she was out with an injury. We talked about the world title match, the triple threat match, the women's world title match, and we'll talk more about the undisputed title match. Jacob debut when he faces LA Knight for the U.S. title. Yeah, and that's pretty much all the matches that they've got signed right now. We've talked about all of them, except we haven't talked much about the main event, of course. Last 2 years in a row, the main event was Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Who could forget last year's WrestleMania main event between Cody and Roman? That was Bloodline Rules. The Rock getting involved, Solo getting involved, John Cena getting involved, The Undertaker getting involved, Seth freaking Rollins getting involved, of course, being the death knell for Roman Reigns and ending his 4+ year reign as WWE champion. Well, really, as Universal Champion, he wasn't WWE Champion that long, but still. Cody Rhodes will main event his third straight, technically fourth really straight WrestleMania, because he was in both main events last year. He was at the main event in 39, main event of 41 here. John Cena, however, will make history as well going into this match, because he's been in more WrestleMania matches than anybody I do believe I've seen now. Which is shocking, but truthful. Not only that, Cena, of course, chasing bigger history than that in this match, because if John Cena beats Cody Rhodes, John Cena becomes 17-time World Heavyweight Champion, beating the Nature Boy Ric Flair's record as a 16-time champion. Cena wasn't in a match at WrestleMania last year. Like we said, he came in and helped Cody win the title last year. The last match that Cena had at WrestleMania 2 years ago, I think it was when he lost to Austin Theory for the U.S. title.
It was in Hollywood, yeah.
Yeah, at 39. So should be an interesting main event, and it'll be so many things we can talk about for that match, but I'm going to leave most of what I'm thinking about for that match when it comes to next week for our prediction show.
Yeah.
Interesting card. It's going to be a fun 2 nights for WrestleMania, it's looking like.
Yeah, I do agree with you with that. I feel like I wish they had more matches because it's a little weak, but I can't wait to see what happens in that Intercontinental title. I'm sorry, the U.S. title match with Jacob Fatu and LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like something's gonna happen and it's gonna blow over. But we'll say about what I'm thinking next week. But and you got to give a shout out to Roman Reigns. This will be his 11th main event of WrestleMania. I mean,
which is history in itself as well.
Yeah, and for a man that has a light schedule now, 11 times being on the main event scene of WrestleMania is astonishing. Some guys are looking for their first, and he gets 11 consecutive, main events. And I gotta say, more props to Roman. And that's the bloodline, baby. They're always in the mix of something. The Samoan dynasty. The Samoan dynasty runs strong. I mean, more props to that. And this all started, and I can say this, may he rest in peace. This all started with Yoko.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
At WrestleMania 9. And where was WrestleMania 9?
Yep.
Las Vegas.
Yep.
It's going to be extra special for John, because everybody knows that's his real name is John. Roman's real name is John, and
Joe.
What is it?
Joe.
Joe. Okay, it was somewhere around there. But I know going into Mania, because of the history of the family, it's going to be extra special. Because he knew that was it? That's his uncle or his cousin. I'm always going to confuse. That family's so goddamn big, I forget where it was.
Right? I think cousin. I won't swear to it, but
I mean, that's going to be extra special because Yoko won his first title at WrestleMania. I'm just hoping next week, after everything is settled, Hulk Hogan don't go into the ring and challenge Roman to a match and ruin his career.
Right?
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a great WrestleMania, and I feel like we just need more because they got to live up to last year's WrestleMania. That shit was jam-packed to the point. This year's a little, I don't know, this year's a little like, we got our matches, but we need more. We need more.
Right. That's true. We'll see what happens. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to say any more when we got 12 matches already definitely decided for it. But 2 nights, you got plenty of time. You can add more to it.
Yeah.
Mentioned still probably tag team title matches, both world tag team and the women's tag team title matches will be included, as well as Randy versus who knows who. It's sad though. One thing to mention: we talk about the women's titles, how there's going to be a singles match for the first time in WrestleMania history for women without a title on the line. Yet you got two new mid-card champions in the women's division, and neither one of them, technically as of right now, are in a match at WrestleMania.
Yeah. The women's United States title, the way it looks, I hope it goes to Mania, not Friday Night SmackDown, WrestleMania SmackDown. Chelsea Green versus Selena Vega. Could we have that at WrestleMania?
I don't think we're going to get that at Mania. If we get it, it might be after Mania.
Yeah, but
there hasn't been enough build.
I mean, I would love to see Chelsea get her WrestleMania moment, but yeah,
I would too.
And here's
not going to happen this year. It doesn't look like though.
Here's another match I was thinking that was going to happen at this year's, but I don't know what the hell they're doing with it. Austin Theory versus Grayson Waller. I swear to God, I thought they were going to finally break them up and have it. It's like,
right.
I was like, are they going to break these motherfuckers up? It's like, no, they haven't broke them up. I mean, Austin Theory,
nope.
And I noticed this. Since that person left and is no longer with the company, Austin Theory went from this to this in a matter of months.
And I see what you're saying, and I feel like it's not anything to do with Theory. It's just, I don't know if Hunter doesn't know what to do with him or what the case is, because personally, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I've said it many times, Austin Theory has it. And Theory could easily be a future World Heavyweight Champion or WWE Champion. I've seen him wrestling in Evolve back in the old Evolve version before he came to WWE. He's a great athlete. I just think that he kind of showed that he could be a babyface in their little tiffs that they're having in NXT with their rivalry with Obafemi, the brief run that they had. And the whole Yeet thing with Jey Uso backstage. Theory could be either a comedic or even a more serious babyface, and I feel like that's where they need to go with the ending of A-Town Down Under, is have Theory be the babyface out of it, Waller go on still being a heel, because honestly, I don't think Waller could be a face. That's my opinion.
No.
He's a face. He's got a face that everybody wants to punch, but that's another story.
If you really wanted to do something with A down, down under, I think the greatest match
A-Town Down Under.
I think the greatest match for them two is to go after one of the popular teams in NXT that just debuted. A-Town Down Under versus Swipe Right.
That would be an interesting match.
Why do I feel like when I watched them, I feel like I was watching Well Done?
But even better.
But even better version. I swear, I was like, oh, wait, is it? When I saw them guys on, I'm like, oh shit, is it 1995?
Maybe, but no, I've been watching Evolve, and I've seen a little bit of what those two guys can do. They're pretty impressive tag team. Swipe Right, Brad Baylor and company.
Oh yeah,
it'll be interesting to see what they do on the main roster eventually.
And I see that other big
fun little fact.
Big girl. I forgot what her name is. They're gonna have a match this Wednesday. The two ladies. Man, that girl's big. That big tall guy, and I see that. And I was watching NXT. I saw that Cutler, who was on LFG, is a part of the Dark State.
Probably G.
And
Yeah,
there's another
he is.
guy that's on in there too, right? That are in LFG, right? Or is it three?
I think Osiris Griffin. I'm not sure if I haven't watched really any of LFG, but I think Osiris Griffin was on LFG as well. I'm not sure if Shaquan Sugars was part of LFG or not. He might have been. All three of them might have been. I know Deion Lennox wasn't.
Yeah. But I'm looking at, and I know one of them is dating Maxine Dupree.
Is it Cutler that's dating her?
I think
or
so.
was that a different guy? I don't remember. One of those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, this WrestleMania, man, we already talked about this. This WrestleMania, it's going to be really good because we got Punk in his first main event and Cena chasing history, which is, you know, Cena going for 17 world titles, which is, you know, mind-boggling. I mean, the way Randy Orton's talking, he wants to get there too. I'm like, what? You got to be 90 before you get that? You know?
Well, he doesn't have that many to go.
Yeah. But, you know, it's going to be a good Mania. And next week, we're going to tell you who we think's going to win. We'll find out more. But next week's big. We got a lot of stuff coming up. We got the Hall of Fame. We got NXT Stand and Deliver. You know, hell. We can even talk about some of that too, because it is WrestleMania weekend. I mean, do we have time to talk about that, or you just want to end here?
Well, I'm going to plug what we're going to do next week, anyways.
Yeah, most definitely. Let's
Wednesday is what we're, because Wednesday is when we're going to do our Stand and Deliver prediction show.
Yeah.
Because NXT, of course, happens Tuesday, so we'll have a card finalized by Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we'll have to figure out which time we want to start. If we'll start at 6 or 7 that day, because it'll take us probably about an hour and a half, I figure, maybe to talk about that.
Yeah.
Hour and a half. So we could do maybe 6:30, but try to be done around 8, because people will still want to go and watch AEW or watch Evolve at 8 o'clock. So
let's start at.
We'll still try to get out before that.
Let's just start at 6. So I mean, we can watch Evolve. I actually watch it more better than AEW. You know.
I watch them both, but I watch Evolve later on in the night.
Yeah.
Only because Dynamite's live. But
to be honest,
it's hard to watch.
To be honest, I only watch AEW because of Harley Cameron.
Well, I can't say as I blame you. Thursday we won't be on the air because I'll be working part of Thursday, but I don't. No, maybe we will do. And we decided we're going to do the other on Friday. We're going to do our WrestleMania prediction show on Friday. I haven't really talked with John, but we'll probably start that around 6 o'clock Friday as well, either 5 or 6 because of SmackDown being on at 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So, and probably when we do the Stand and Deliver, we'll talk about the Hall of Fame at that point in time a little bit. Because WrestleMania prediction show, there's going to be so many matches that we're going to have to discuss for that. So just be on the lookout. Wednesday and Friday, those will be the 2 days next week that we definitely will be doing shows.
Yeah, and it's going to be a busy week for us, man. We're just going with the flow. Going with the flow, baby boy. You know, this is what we do. We love our wrestling.
That is true.
You know, this is a time when after WrestleMania, you want to say to yourself, I need a vacation.
that might be true
Yeah.
too. So we don't take vacations though here at Tiger Talks Wrestling.
Right.
We try to give you stuff every week or 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'm hoping that June.
What?
I'm hoping that June, and I'm hoping that the first week of June is not packed with WWE stuff, because I'll be like, due to technical difficulties being in New York, Eddie will not be here today. You know, so
What do you mean? You'll be live from New York.
I will, but I'm like saying like, oh shit, you know, I'll be doing everything from my phone because, yeah, I'm not bringing a tablet to New York. Are you nuts? You know, I don't want to get robbed. You know,
Yeah, I don't blame him.
I mean, I can handle myself, but like, nah, you're not taking my shit. But I'm in the Bronx, baby. They'll take an ice cream cone away from you.
Well, I believe it. Shows that there are 4 people watching. If any of you guys want to mention anything WrestleMania wise or anything else wrestling wise, go ahead and put it in the comments section. I'll give you a minute or two before we close out here.
Yeah, most definitely. Please do. You know, we're not trying to scare you. We just want to know what your feeling is.
Anything at all. But yeah, no, I'm taking a week off in the beginning of May too. But I'll still. The thing is, when I'm going to be off will be around the same time that Backlash is going to be. So I'll be getting home the day of Backlash. So I'll probably be taking my laptop with me where I'm going to be going for the week and doing our prediction
Yeah.
show on location, if you will.
I did hear something over the rumors with another wrestling Wrestle Talk. Apparently, WWE has basically scrapped King of the Ring.
Yeah, which I think is stupid, but
I mean,
but apparently they want to keep that for in Saudi, I guess, and this year's Saudi show is going to be Night of Champions instead, in like June or July or something like that.
Okay, yeah, and then we already know that the Royal Rumble next year is in Saudi.
Yeah, that's going to be the first of 3 shows in Saudi next year.
Jeez.
Yeah. Probably be King of the
We
Ring.
know
And
eventually.
King and Queen.
We know eventually Saudi's gonna ask for WrestleMania.
I hope it doesn't happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does. Probably before the UK even gets it.
Yeah. I mean, when you're paying $1.8 billion to WWE to do shows over there, plus UFC is doing some shows over there too. I mean, yeah. Like you said in May, man, May's going to be really busy for wrestling because apparently WWE is doing shows in the same city as AEW.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, are we going to Tupelo, Mississippi?
Yeah, maybe. I know they got Saturday night's main event coming up shortly soon too. So
I was joking with some. I was gonna joke with you to this. I think if WWE really wanted to get to AEW, they call up Road Dogg, they call up Sean Waltman, and they have Sean and Sean and Hunter go down to where AEW is and knock on the back of the door. We're here. Is everything okay? You have
try to get Billy out of there.
Yeah, we want Daddy ass back. Give us our bad ass.
Yeah.
Well, on a side note, before we go, but man, I have something to say about the Hall of Fame. We know Luger's going in this year. Tony Khan, grow up and let Sting induct his best friend. Like, who else could induct Lex Luger? I mean, there's nobody else that knows Luger more better than Sting. I mean,
That's true.
maybe Ric Flair, but Flair,
He was a horseman.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like Luger deserves to have his best. I don't know if they're best friends anymore, because of Luger's past, the way he was. But
They're
still,
still really close.
Are they still close?
Yeah, Lex has even said he wants Sting to be the one.
I feel like no matter what, man, Sting's a Hall of Famer. He should induct his friend into the WWE Hall of Fame. And whatever, I'm in a minute. Luger's wrestling career, hands down, one of the best talented and physical specimens of wrestling. Outside of the ring, Lex Luger is not somebody I like.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
He took, and people are going to think I'm wrong, he took somebody that a lot of people love, and she's no longer with us. And I still think that hands down she should be in the Hall of Fame this year because she deserves it. And that is the First Lady of Wrestling. And you always hear this every time, that word, the First Lady of Wrestling, this person, that person. To me, always, the First Lady of Wrestling should be Miss Elizabeth. And
Right.
Luger took that away from us with not knowing CPR. Like, I still can't stand him for doing that because we could have had Elizabeth being inducted into the Hall. That bothers me, and there's another thing that bothers me, that this person should be in the Hall of Fame with Elizabeth in a celebrity ring and a celebrity wing. I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like, WWE just does all this shit with wrestlers and Wendy, not Wendy Winter, what is her name? God damn it. I went blank. I forgot her name. Cyndi Lauper. There you go. Cyndi Lauper.
I think of it too.
Yeah. Cyndi Lauper should be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yes, she should.
But let me stop doing my ranting because we all want to get the hell out of here. But, I just feel like Wendy Richter deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because if it wasn't for her, there would not be no rockin' wrestling.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is very true. She was a big part of WrestleMania 1, so definitely should be part of the Hall of Fame.
I mean, my God,
there's so many people that should be in.
It's been 40 years.
Yeah, it's been 40 years.
When are they going to put her in?
Mm-hmm. Right. But I don't know. I personally, so and maybe some people wouldn't agree with this, but I personally feel like, no offense to Triple H, but I feel like the main person to go in the Hall of Fame this year should have been Bray Wyatt. So that's my opinion. I don't know if his family would feel like it was too soon after losing him not that long ago, really, but since he didn't go in last year, I felt like this was the year that Bray should have went in the Hall of Fame.
I totally agree with you. I think Bray should have won in this year. Or maybe they're waiting until next year when they're in New Orleans.
Maybe that could, I guess.
But for some,
he needs to go in sooner than
Tony. For some reason, I feel like I already know who's going to be next year's headliner.
Who's that?
I feel like next year's headliner will be John Cena. I just have this gut. I just have this gut feeling. John will be in the Hall of Fame next year, or it will be Batista or somebody else. Yeah. And I feel like Bray deserves to get in, but I think maybe it's JoJo. It's too soft for her right now to see her husband. I mean, they did it with Eddie when Eddie was gone. I know Eddie was gone, but did they induct Eddie a year after he passed away?
They inducted him the very next WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Very next Hall of Fame. After he...
I don't know. Sometimes I think the WWE just does it. Triple H knows how Bray is because, I just feel like maybe it's too soon for the family. Maybe that's why he's not in there as of right now.
Maybe. And he definitely should be.
Yeah.
Sooner than later. But, like I said, we could discuss a lot of people that should be or shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame, but that's a story for another time.
Most definitely.
All right. Well, that being said, I gave you guys some time. The show's only 3 people now, but we will see you guys Wednesday night for our Stand and Deliver prediction show, next Friday night for WrestleMania prediction show, and then who knows what we'll do after that, but it should be a fun week next week, starting with Monday Night Raw on Monday, all the way through WrestleMania, and then Raw after Mania, of course, as well. Always a big show. So we thank you guys for watching, tuning in, whether you're watching now live or you watch later. If you want, hit that bell so you know when we go live. Hit the like button. Leave us a comment. We will appreciate all that, and we will catch you guys in the next time.